Roles of a denizen. A content creator is a user that creates posts and is rewarded based on the quality of their content. A content evaluator is a user that helps assess the quality of content and enforces community standards. The evaluator is effectively taking part in a marketplace to curate content and is rewarded for early evaluation. A content consumer is a user that wishes to find and consume the most valuable content in a given subject area or within a community. A lair owner is a person holding tokenized ownership of all or part of a community lair. Owners are rewarded with a portion of all mining activity happening within their lair. Owners are incentivized to build the best community of content creators and evaluators.
Hello, and welcome to the DENDAO meeting. Today is October the 17th. It's 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I believe I had posted that we would do this at 1 p.m. My apologies. I had not set my alarm correctly, and I was busy reading the white paper for Meme Asylum, which many of you may know that Joe wrote, and members of the Dragon team are part of that project. It's a unique project, and I encourage you all to look at that. But having that aside, my sincere and humble apologies for being late today and my tardiness. But anyway, let's get started in today's meeting. Again, this is a meeting. You are all invited. Cameras are optional. If you go to the link within YouTube, you'll probably see the link to be able to join us in this live meeting, or you can go to Den.Social to the DENDAO Lair. Lair, again, is a category on Den.Social, and click on the link there to join, and I'll bring you up. Today's meeting, we have three, typical normal items to discuss: current open governance votes, open DEN support issues, as well as we'll talk about the rebranding of Den.Social to DePlatform. And then we will go to the open forum and see if there's anything posted. I will update this screen just prior to us going over to the open forum. So if you have any questions and you want me to address them, go ahead and post them now. And let's take a look at Den.Social and the governance votes. Let me see if I can pull that up correctly. And yes, here we go. Since the previous meeting, there have been some changes for various layers, as you can see me scrolling through here. The last one we talked about was the World Blockchain Roundtable. Typical things about, new themes for the month and that kind of thing. Remember, Den.Social is managed by a DAO where the users can affect change and alter or change their layers, being they have ownership in the layer, kind of like ownership in a category, or like on YouTube, ownership in a channel. And people get together digitally from all over the world and cast proposals, and then the owners vote on those proposals for them to pass. So there have been a series of changes like avatar changes, banner changes, description changes to Wizards and Wands, as well as the videotapes layer, and a change proposal here for the themes for the month of October on World Blockchain Roundtable motivation quotes. So Alexon's been very busy posting a lot of avatar changes and what have you for various layers. So congrats to Alexon. As you can see, like I voted on these and they were approved. Others have voted on them. But as far as any other new outstanding site-wide or individual layers, nothing is up at this point. At this time, there are no additional proposals being made for us to review and vote on. So that takes care of number one, current open governance votes. Again, remember, this is a social media site where everyone who participates and earns matter has a say or a vote on this application. You don't have a say or vote on YouTube or Reddit, as a master or, shall we say, token. There is no way to vote. You would have to probably be a employee of that company. You would have to have millions of dollars invested and be on the board of directors to effect change in those corporations. Whereas Den.Social is very different and very unique in that it is managed and run by a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. Spread the word. By the way, Den.Social also is like Community Notes, and that is run by a DAO or people who vote up or down on content. So each content posting is essentially a poly market. Poly markets were very popular and are still popular in, who's going to win the World Series, who's going to win this, key matchup in basketball or football, or who is going to be, the next president of the United States or what have you. So there are various poly markets out there that didn't exist before Den.Social. And it's kind of interesting. If you think about it, we are a social media site where every posting is a poly market. Another very unique item. It shocks me that more people don't know this or look at this. But however, when you have $0 for marketing, that's why. When you have $0 to maintain the site currently, that's why. And all of that is why, because the SEC came after Dragonchain, which the site was built on Dragonchain, and Dragonchain's all of its resources, dev support, money, went all to lawyers and to this fight. And then the SEC said, "Oh, my bad. Dragonchain, you win without prejudice. We're out. We're done. You win." And but needless to say, millions and millions of dollars were spent in that fight, and now there's nothing left in the bank account to help grow and support Den.Social. So that's why we are where we are at today, hence the reason for payouts. And let's go into number 2, which is DIN open support issues. And before I even click on that, I'm going to tell you, everyone is concerned and upset that they're not getting their daily matter payments to their wallet on Den.Social. So am I. I too am upset about that. And unfortunately, there is a linkage that is broken, and that requires the devs to step in and fix it. And then all of those payments come through automatically, and that hasn't happened. And it's unfortunate. But that is also because there are $0 in the budget for those devs. And those devs are working on projects that do pay. And other projects such as, Dracaria, which is also a very interesting thing, and other customers that are attached to Dragonchain. So there are no dev available that have either the time, the resources, or can work on Den.Social for free until we raise money to pay for devs. That's where we're at. and another reason for number 3, which is rebranding, but I don't want to jump into that just yet. Let's go over here to DIN support issues. There is one open question since the last meeting. It says a question several days in and no response. Anyone? My artwork has been taken away on Den.Social after almost a year. It did not break community guidelines. My question is why? Okay, Michael J. Smathers, I wish you could explain what artwork you're talking about. Nothing is taken down on Den.Social. How are you searching it? Where was this artwork that you're talking about? So let me go ahead and just reply here. I'm not sure I understand your question or problem. What artwork within which I can't type in which layer have you gone to that specific layer where it was posted and use the search function in to find. I don't know how it could be. It's all right. It's a question. I'm asking a question, so I'm going to tag it with a question. All right. So that is his. I'm going to go ahead and mark it up because good question. I don't know what he's talking about. And the one prior to that was October 10th. It says 3 months. We are getting there. Are we really about to hit 3 months without rewards? Just 6 more days to reach milestone and set a new record? Should be a piece of cake. Well, you're correct. It's a piece of cake. 3 months. Unfortunately, it wasn't resolved. This is an ongoing issue, like I discussed about the lack of devs that have the time and the resources to work on this issue for Den.Social. It's up to all of us to, quite honestly, bring awareness to the site, bring more users to the site, and create a buzz so that people want to use it. Maybe drive up the price of matter. I don't know. So we can, maybe some of the devs who might want to be paid in matter. Maybe we could create a pool of donations in matter to the devs that would be willing to, fix this issue. And maybe they'd be willing to earn matter instead of, say, Ethereum or US dollars. But it's really also not just amount of dollars, it's physical time. There's only 24 hours in a day, and these devs are working hard and diligently on other customers and other projects that are paying them, you know, so or may not be paying them very well, but at least they're paying them. Where on Den.Social there are no funds there. So there's some items or ideas. So open DIN support issues. Now let's go into rebranding Den.Social to DePlatform discussion. And to do that, I'm going to hang on just a second. I'm going to show you another post, which was a very good question. And let's see if I can find it. It had to do with matter and having to do with the renaming of the project. Okay. Let's see if I bring this up. Adding to the stage. Okay, Time Hoarder says, thanks for going through the list. I'm eagerly waiting for the first draft of updates. This is in respect to the renaming of a rebranding and the new functionalities that would be under DePlatform, making Den.Social also a video platform and maybe foremost a video platform. I hear you're challenged on bandits, and to your point, as long as there's an opportunity with incentives in place, it can only continue until we start building a larger community. That's absolutely correct. We have to have a larger community to address the current issues that we have, and also the incentives must be there. And there are, quite honestly, and being frank and honest, there are no incentives to join Den.Social right now if Matter's not being paid out, correct? So it's a cart before the horse. How do we fix the Matter payout problem and have the devs stop doing what they're doing, come over to Den.Social, fix it for free, and then go back and do their other daily jobs that, pay their bills and feed their families? How do we get them to stop doing that, to come over here and work for free and, as a charitable event, to fix the Matter so that we have incentives and people would be able to earn Matter, cash out Matter? That's part of the incentive, right? Some people want to cash out their Matter rather than have just a bigger vote, a bigger say on the platform. And, I live by the mantra, really, to be honest with you, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. Well, if Matter's not paying out, there is no incentive. If the fees are high on Ethereum and dilute your earnings of Matter, well, then there is no incentive. There's all kinds of issues with that. Having said that, the whole rebranding process of Den.Social into DePlatform, we want to address all of them, all of those issues, and bring back those incentives, and bring back not only incentives, but fix a real world problem out there about channels and channel ownership and videos that are censored. So, YouTube, you don't own your channel, really. Well, I guess technically you could, and technically there are sites out there that will put your channel up for sale and you can hand it off to somebody else and sell it. But it doesn't quite work that way, and there are no incentives for ownership for the content creators, fan club or followers, subscribers. They don't have an ownership in that channel. That's what we want to create here with DePlatform. So going back to our rebranding, discussion, the white paper, a draft still needs to be done and completed and put out there for all of us to see. And one of the big concerns, and that was another post, I'm not going to bring it up, but that big concern was, what's going to happen with my matter under the new platform? Well, we don't know yet. We haven't made any decisions on that, but it's not for us or we to make that decision. That's for everyone to make that decision, because that will be put up as a DAO vote, and the DENDAO vote, and everyone's going to vote on what's going to happen to matter. Is it going to be renamed, rebranded? Is the supply going to be changed? Is it going to be, swapped out into another, token or coin? Is it going to remain on Ethereum? Is it going to be something that's internal into Dragonchain? Who knows? We don't know. We're working through those details and those ideas, and thinking of all of the what ifs, and trying to come up with solutions. And those solutions can be put into a drafted white paper, posted on Den.Social for us denizens to review, poke, prod, question, and present new ideas or new thoughts on how it should be done. So we're way early in the stages, to be quite honest with you, which also requires funding. And there are people out there that are extremely frustrated with Rumble, with YouTube, with BitChute, with Hive, and other video sites where there's just not enough income streams coming from it. A lot of people on YouTube are screaming because they turned that, maybe they've lost their jobs, or they're looking at a gig economy, trying to do something different to add to their income streams, and they want to become a YouTuber. They want to become an influencer on YouTube. They want to become a content creator on YouTube and start earning money. But there are so many people that have flocked to YouTube that it's now a saturated market. And so it takes a lot of views, and same with TikTok, a lot of views and a lot of subscribers to eke out even just a few dollars, because it's become saturated. Well, and maybe a new platform with a new form of ownership, with new incentives to view, where the content creators have subscribers that from their actions, they are awarded, lot, like we do on Den.Social. So when our layer was created, our layer creation process on Den was, remember, it happened monthly, and it was kind of this long process where proposals are submitted for a new layer. The layers are voted upon with lore, and then the winning layers, however many there were created that month, that was decided upon, were then created, and however much lore was put in those layers, proposals, was then converted to lot, and everyone who voted on that earned that lot and had ownership in that channel. But then it's locked, and so when people left the site, we have layers where there's ownership and it's not shared. You can't earn new lot within that layer, and they become dormant and stagnant, and changes are difficult, and changes don't happen if you don't have ownership in that layer. Well, that needs to be addressed, and we have new ideas about that. Why should we cap the ownership or cap the lot in a channel? Maybe it should be ongoing, so as people fall off, they can still own it, but they're not active in it, and new users come in, become active, and start earning lot or ownership in a channel. Sounds like a brilliant idea for me. I think it solves that issue of people becoming inactive in a layer, and in this case, we're calling them channels. And it's kind of like you're watching TV all the time, and you're watching your favorite show, and maybe every week, every Wednesday night, you and the family sit down, you're watching that. and then you don't like the new plots and the new characters or something, and you stop watching it and you start watching something else in its place, and it kind of fades away, and maybe it goes into reruns. Well, that's essentially what we're talking about here with channels or layers. Maybe they kind of fade away and go into reruns, but they're still there. They're still there for people to view or make comments on, but it could be revised and renewed by new owners who come in and start interacting with that channel and recreating material in that channel. And it could reconstitute into a new channel. That's something that I would like to see, or have that ability. But what say you? That's where this is a DAO. It's a decentralized, autonomous organization. People from all over the world will have a say and have a vote, just like you do on Den.Social. All right. So stay tuned for the white paper, for us to post a draft and for us to start talking about it. And maybe what we need to do is just start posting pieces of it, or a generalized concept outline of what we're thinking. And let's all start having that dialogue and discussion. Okay. Last but not least is open forum for community replies. I'm going to refresh my screen. And let's see if there's anybody in the community who's made comments. And no, you can see here I'm at the bottom, and nobody has made any comments to the DENDAO meeting for today. So that will conclude today's DENDAO meeting. Things have settled down for me and the family, and health-wise, etc. And so I look forward to being able to have these meetings weekly again on Fridays. So thank you very much. Again, I am, aka William, the DENDAO Emperor. That title was decided upon before I became the Emperor of the DAO. So that concludes today's meeting. We'll go out here with Into the Dragon, and in today's meeting, let me double check real quick before I leave, see if there's anything on the YouTube comments. And nope, it just Coca-Cola. I think I was listening at work, sir. Great. Glad to have you listening in. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day, everybody, or evening, and we'll see you next week. Be sure and post something in DENDAO meeting or in the DENDAO if you want me to address something. All right. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you.
Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best. Adaptable, raw capital, label radical yet rational. A tactical approach is palpable if this animal is fallible. But that conclusion is laughable, so with for all detachable from the mandible, you see it now?